This is the building in Nuremberg where 20 top Nazis are being tried for many crimes, not the least of which is the breaking of 26 treaties, agreements and assurances. It's 10 o'clock on the first day and everyone in court stands up as the tribunal enters. 4 judges and alternate members, French, American, British and Russian. Lord Justice Lawrence, the President, with Sir Norman Birkett at his right hand, opens the first trial of its kind that the world has seen.
It only remains for me to direct, in accordance with the provisions of the Charter, that the indictment shall now be read.
Defendants in the dock had had copies of the indictment for over a month, but it must be read.
Of crimes against peace, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, and of a common plan or conspiracy to commit those crimes, all as defined in
the reading of the indictment took all day, but the Nuremberg trial had begun. The second day of the trial was even more dramatic. The first incident was the objection by the defense that they had not had time to study certain documents. This is how Lord Justice Lawrence dealt with that.
The provisions of Article 24 would be followed. But now we will adjourn for 15 minutes in which all of you may consult with your clients.
Okay, recording, that's all for now. We're adjourning for 15 minutes.
A scene of great animation followed, especially among the defendants and their counsel. Goering started writing volumes of notes. Ribbentrop got to work on his counsel. Hess stopped reading his novel and had a good look round. Keitel went into a huddle with Rosenberg. This sort of thing went on all through the 15 minutes, and then the tribunal returned. When all had taken their places, the President called on the defendants to plead.
The defendants to plead guilty or not guilty to the charges against them. Hermann Wilhelm Goering.
As you'll see and hear, Goering's attempt to make a speech was firmly dealt with by Lord Justice Lawrence.
Bevor ich die Frage des Gerichtshofes beantworte, ob ich mich schuldig oder nicht schuldig bekenne,
I informed the court that defendants were not entitled to make a statement. You must plead guilty or not guilty.
bekenne mich im Sinne der Anklage nicht schuldig.
Rudolf Hess.
Nein.
That will be entered as a plea of not guilty.
The next defendant called was Ribbentrop.
Ich bekenne mich im Sinne der Anklage für nicht schuldig.
Wilhelm Keitel.
Ich bekenne mich nicht schuldig.
Next, Rosenberg.
Ich bekenne mich im Sinne der Anklage nicht für schuldig.
He was backroom boy number 1 in the Nazi setup.
Julius Streicher.
Nicht schuldig.
It would take too long to show them all, but you probably know Schacht, the Nazis' financial wizard.
Ich bin in keiner Weise schuldig.
And von Papen, ex-chancellor and ex-a lot of things.
Ich keinesfalls schuldig.
Arthur Seyss-Inquart.
Ich bekenne mich nicht schuldig.
After the pleading, Goering again tried to make a speech. Some people are slow to learn.
You are not entitled to address the tribunal except through your counsel at the present time.
Well, they all pleaded not guilty. And then Mr. Justice Jackson, the chief American prosecutor, began his speech with these striking sentences.
The privilege of opening the first trial in history for crimes against the peace of the world imposes a grave responsibility. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored.
But let's pause for a moment to refresh our all too short memories of the Nazi plan and the vast misery it produced, the deliberate and ruthless crushing of Poland. The havoc all over the continent with all the attendant cruelties inflicted on millions of innocent people. The crimes committed in the name of Hitler and Nazism at sea. And what Germany called concentration camps. All these horrors we know and should never forget, any more than we forget what they did to Britain when we were alone and weak in arms, though not in spirit. The Nazi leaders who planned and executed aggressive total war against the civilized world can strut and bully and butcher no more. Yet brought to trial at last, they are to receive justice.
That four great nations, flushed with victory and stung with injury, stay the hand of vengeance and voluntarily submit their captive enemies to the judgment of the law is one of the most significant tributes that power has ever paid to reason.
The story of Nazi crimes is a long one. A particular aspect of Nazi organization was explained by Major Coogan, another American prosecutor, who went into details of the origin of the whole conspiracy.
First, a brief reference to the history of the Nazi Party. The court will no doubt recollect that the National Socialist Party had its origin in the German...
And the chart of Nazi organization was displayed in court, a sort of family tree with Hitler at the top. The demeanor of the defendants was interesting. Donitz and Raeder, Donitz apparently half asleep. Streicher, the Jew-baiter, he looks furious, but his fury is impotent. As for the rest of them, you can see for yourself.
In all three readings. In the official minutes of this cabinet meeting was the defendant Goering's announcement that he had ordered SA troops on the Polish border to be...
Goering may try to look as if he doesn't care, but the moment he has the chance, he gets very busy on his defense. Well, he needs to, and so do the rest. The trial, certain to be a long one, continues.